Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my lovely, lovable co-host, Sarah Levine.
Hello.
There she is, people. Guys, let's just a shout out. I know she's here. I'm not really sure how a shout out precisely works. This is Sarah's third podcast recording of the day. I mean, can you believe this, people?
I know. I'm just like,
brutal.
I don't want to speak after this.
And you, Sarah, are an introvert, right?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think I'm shy, but I'm like extroverted in that I like being around people, but like I don't like to talk. Like everybody else can talk. I'll just listen. Get the drama.
That's an interesting thing. That is the introverts. I guess, yeah, it's talking, but you're saying you like to be around people. So I don't know that the extrovert is necessarily one who needs to talk a lot.
Yeah, I think I looked it up because I was like, which am I? And extroverts like get their energy from being around people, which I think is true for me. I do like my alone time, but I think generally I like to be around people more often than not. But I just don't really, I don't know, I'm also pretty shy, I think, so it's a weird combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I relate with that. I'm not really sure what I am. I certainly remember a time in my life. Now looking back, I think I have clarity on this because I used to always go, well, I'm naturally introverted, but I chose to become an extrovert.
Okay.
And now I'm realizing that's stupid. I think that's wrong now. I'm realizing what I actually went through was I had no social skills and I realized I needed to develop them.
Yeah, that'll do it, I guess.
And I'm still working. Like, what are the right things to say? Mm-hmm. You know? And I'm not necessarily succeeding at this, frequently saying the wrong things. But now at least I'm within a range where it's not so bad.
I mean, that's all we can hope for.
I don't know. See, I think the problem is I've gotten better, right? So I am improving. But the problem is I've also gotten smarter. I know more words and I know more about how people work. So even though I've become, there's less instances where I fuck up, now I have like a nuclear bomb vocabulary arsenal. So it's like still.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's unfortunate. It's not great, because you can really, you say the wrong thing about someone, you hit them right in the heart, and that's it.
You win some, you lose some.
They're done with you. You win some, you lose some. But Sarah, I don't think I talked about this. I did something very interesting. I have a very cool cousin. He is my child-free cousin in Miami. And I got to give him a good public props here. He took me paddleboarding once, pretty much untoward of nothing. He's always on some kind of adventure. This is apparently what happens if you're child free. Your life is a series of, I didn't even know people did that.
Cool. I love that.
He took me paddleboarding in a river. You ever been paddleboarding?
I don't know. Is that when you're just on like a flat surfboard and you just paddle?
That literally, wow, you nailed it. I couldn't have described it better.
But on a lake.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Yeah, we did it in this river. And anyway, so we'll always get into some kind of hijinks, and he's like one of these people. I forget what he swings a mace now, and it's like very rhythmic.
What?
He's in incredible shape, and yeah,
a mace, like the spiky ball on a chain.
Yes, it's
on a stick.
It's not. What? It's not a spiky ball. It's like a smooth steel thing, and it's quite heavy. I think. Oh. And he spins it rather rhythmically, dare I say, poetically, people, and that's his thing. And he posts them on Insta. And anyway, he's just like a fitness guru in various ways. And so I was like, hey man, like I'm trying to run and I get all this back pain. And, he was like, you got to do the ice bath. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I realized
fuck it. I'm down.
I'm down. No further explanation. Well, because this is what I realized that we share in common, and this is why I think, maybe it's blood because we are cousins, is that we're both kind of like sensation seeker types. We like to do maybe adrenaline junkie, something like that is kind of our wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So anyway, first time I do the ice bath, and I got in the ice bath, okay? It was also a cloudy day, and I was in there for 1 minute, and it was the worst minute of my entire life, and I jumped out.
Doesn't sound. I don't think it's supposed to be pleasant, right? Like it's an ice bath.
No, it's very unpleasant, and I've been kind of chewing on this for some time.
I don't blame you.
Is it pain? Yes, it's definitely pain. But the feeling, the sensation of being immersed in ice cold water it's so weird. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't fit into.
It's so cold that it's hot. You know when that happens to you, when you stand out in the cold too long.
Ooh, that's bad.
That you feel like your fingers are burning.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that.
So yeah, it's like whatever. Suffice to say, it's super unpleasant. And the next time I did it, I had some strategies. I was like, I want to do this much better. I was pretty embarrassed by my 1 minute score. And there's a whole thing about finding your breath. So the second time I did it, I ran prior. So I was literally running directly into the ice bath was my goal. And everything lined up. And his friend was there. And she's like an ice bath queen. So I jump in the ice bath and she was like, breathe, just focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. Don't move. Breathe. And I got through these 90 seconds of hell, more or less, ice hell. And then it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Okay. And so how long did you stay in there?
8 minutes. About 8 minutes. A little less than 8.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. I know everyone's like, so why would you do this? You just suffer for no reason? No. It's, first of all, immensely psychologically satisfying because you just defeated the Ice King. And as your blood begins to fill your body, it's like one of the best feelings in the world. And then you get in a hot tub and it's like sweet heaven, like honey being poured all over your body. It's amazing.
That's not dangerous to go from like freezing to hot? Like, I feel like you're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to. No. You get out of the ice bath and then you kind of lounge about in the Florida sun and you take it in and then you have thoughts. If you're me, you're like, I'm Cuban. This is the weather that I was built for, apparently.
Got it.
Yeah, I could smell the island from here, you say. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And anyway, but yeah. So that was my little Miami experience. There is one other thing, and this is true. It's true information. Cubans are unique. We are, because Cubans are the only, by far and in large, Republican Hispanics in the United States.
That doesn't shock me.
Right. It makes sense.
Because I feel like we've talked about this before, because if you're going to flee a communist regime, it stands to reason that you'd be pretty wary of anything that seems like communism.
Perfectly put. She gets it, people. And
yep. Well, we've had this conversation before. I will not take the credit for that.
Well, look, I mean, but I feel understood. You understood where I was going with this, and
yeah. And
here's the thing. Some Republicans, not all, are like weird about vaccination. So I got kind of paranoid. And I was like, we were going to this big Thanksgiving, and I was like, hey, is everyone going to be vaccinated? A family friend responded, quote unquote, as proud Republicans, all of us are mostly vaccinated.
I have a lot of questions. All of us are mostly vaccinated. Number one, what does that mean?
What does that mean exactly?
All of us have maybe a shot. I don't know which shot it is.
It could be measles, mumps, rubella.
It might be the flu shot.
Might be a flu shot. Exactly. Might be a placebo.
Tequila shot, boom.
Yeah, it's Gardasil,
But what does the as proud Republicans have to do with it? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm down for anybody to get vaccinated for whatever their reasoning is, but I'm not seeing the inherent connection there.
I was very confused by it. I mean, first of all, I was like, you know what? Good on you, because God, obviously I'm no fan of the particular party, but I was like, I don't know anyone who has any pride for politics in America. It's usually kind of lesser of two evil rhetoric. So it's like, damn, really, you're proud?
That's fair.
But also I was like, okay, wait, are you suggesting that the Republicans have had a clear message of being vaccinated? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's like,
have we been listening to the same people?
Yeah, no, it's weird. I mean, I had so much fun with my immediate family and, my cousins, but it was funny too. My parents were like, they're like, oh, we got some new family. You should meet this new family. Their third. I was like, there's no new family. I'm not meeting them.
No, the gates have closed. No new updates.
You get
Unless you're being born.
Right. Babies will allow. Otherwise, that's it. It's the MFs that are already here and no one new.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah. There's enough characters.
You can't just become a new family member when I'm already in my 30s. I'm sorry.
No
You
way.
had your chance.
You had your shot. You needed some formative memories to put on me, and you missed your window. It's over, so.
Seriously, that's so funny.
That's my juice. Now, Sarah, I'm really bearing the lead here because my juice is this, mundane Thanksgiving minutia. Sarah here is ready to bring a case. Oh. Yes, people.
Yes.
Yes, let's go there.
True.
By the way,
I'm ready to Karen.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
Yeah, by the way, what?
Oh, I was going to say, I know a listener reached out to me about a UPS story, and I have realized of all the things, even my misgivings and the quotes I said that were stupid and the things that we did were good, I think we have received now more messages about how horrible UPS is than anything else. And frankly, folks, you love to see it. Yes.
Honestly, you do. And my Dunkin' thing was delivered by the one and only UPS. So this is about to suck for me.
Classic. So yeah, to bring everyone into the story, right? You ordered it for your boy. You ordered some Dunkin' Donuts products.
One item, a merch, like clothing. I ordered this, and just to give a bit of backstory, first I tried to order with my credit card, and my bank didn't let me do it because it suspected it as fraud. And that really was the point where I should have walked away, but I didn't. I was determined. And that was a huge mistake. It said on the site, like, this will ship in 6 to 8 days. And I was like, great. So 8 days go by. I haven't gotten any sort of like shipping notification. So I email them and I'm like, hey, just asking about my order. They go, here are your tracking numbers. I'm like, what? They send me 3 tracking numbers, all to random cities in the US. Like, one was Connecticut, one was like Illinois, and one was in Brooklyn. And I'm like, and I reply back and I say, well, I don't know why. I was like, well, I only ordered one item. I made one order. And also, none of these are going to the place I made the order to. And so they say, okay, right, here's the link. And sorry, I'm restating it if you've been following the Dunkin' saga. They go, here's the link. They send me the link to the landing page for UPS tracking. And I go, right, okay, yes, but what is my number? And then this was when I got fucking annoyed.
So insulting.
Then I got fucking annoyed. I go, wait, okay, yes, but like, and I said this more politely, obviously, but I was like, what is my number? And then they start to treat me like I'm fucking stupid. So then I get mad because they basically say, scroll up, like, use the numbers provided above. And I was like, I told you, if you would have actually listened to me, that you just gave me 3 random ass people's tracking numbers and I don't know them. And that is not my order. And so finally they go, oh, okay, you're right. We don't have your tracking number yet. Check back in a few days. So I check back in a few days. They send me my tracking number. Lo and behold, I'm like, oh, it's coming tonight. Great. Okay. I get the package. I'm like, excellent. I open it up and I'm like, you motherfuckers. Because number one, it's the wrong size. And number two, yeah, I'm fucking annoyed. The wrong size. And also, this is just my fault, but like, it's kind of a piece of shit. It's really not a quality item. That is my fault for expecting quality from Dunkin' Donuts. But like, I was really hoping, but whatever, that's a buyer beware situation, but they sent me the wrong size. So I email them and now I'm annoyed. And now I'm not being like, oh my God, hey, just to let you know, I'm just like, this is a fucking deal. So I send them pictures. I send them a screenshot of my order. I'm like, this is the wrong size. I would like a refund. When can I get my refund, essentially? And then they send me back. And this is how I know they've clearly just like outsourced their customer service to like another country, because all of the which is whatever, but all of the replies were worded really confusingly. And I didn't know what to make of them. They say, we would like to inform you that you need to return the items to the address given below. They list some random address in Oak Grove, Louisiana. Oh, I'm an idiot. I made a whole TikTok saying it was California. LA, I went Los Angeles. No, it's Louisiana. So Louisiana, even worse.
Oh, I hate that. They need to change that.
Change your state.
They need to change that. Because I'm always like, LA,
yeah.
And then there is an LA. I'm sorry, Louisiana. We love NOLA, but it's time. You guys need a new state of breathe.
It's true. So they want me to ship it to some address in Louisiana. Then they say, you are requested to share the return tracking details once you ship it back. Once we get confirmation that the package has shipped, a refund has been initiated for the same. And I'm like, what? Oh, and then also, they just send me this address. They don't attach any return shipping label or anything. So I'm like, okay, 2 questions.
No.
Exactly. I'm like, 2 questions.
No.
So you're going to make me ship this back to you before I get my money back when I had to chase you down to get any information about my order? I don't like that. Also, fuck you. I'm not paying to return my own item that you shipped to me the wrong thing. So no, fuck that. So I do the whole like passive aggressive, like I'm a bit confused thing. But basically I'm just like, have you processed the refund or is it not going to be processed until it's returned? I don't feel like I should have to wait to get my money back for an item I didn't order. And also you haven't provided a shipping label. I'm not paying. I was basically like, I'm not paying to ship back my item whatever. So anyway, so then they send an email back and they say, hi, please find the attached return label. Once you send the order back, we'll proceed with the refund. And so the shipping label is literally addressed to a person, like a first and last name. I'm straight up confused.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, this is fucking sketch in Louisiana. So it's not like a warehouse. It's not like Shop Dunkin' returns. No. I'm like, this is incredibly fucking sketch. And now I'm mad because I don't feel like I should have to ship this back. I mean, I guess that's me being a little Karen-y, but I was like, this is ostensibly Dunkin' Donuts. Like, you shipped me the wrong thing after treating me like I was an idiot when I was right all the time, and also trying to hunt you down for any information. And also, now I have to trust your honor system that you're going to send me my money back after I've sent you the item back. Like, that is incredibly fucking sketch. Like, why should I have to do that?
Wildly sketch. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Look,
what should I? No,
I
can't
believe
what
you
should
trusted.
I do? I know this was my fault. I'm a Starbucks girl. I will be drinking their terrible burnt coffee forever.
I love Starbucks coffee, but look, you're entitled to your opinion. I think the problem is, you're basically dealing with a chaotic customer service department, and I mean, this is how I'm starting to feel, especially with like these lower ticket things. It's like it's not even worth it. It's like I'm going to Chargeback Town. That's my new strategy.
Yeah.
I always use one credit card, and I'm like, guess what? This is a chargeback.
Stupid. I use my debit card, and they are like, I mean, I can proceed with it, but is it a ding if they don't side with me?
It might be a ding, but if you have documentation and you can prove these things, and you have to take a couple of pictures, that's the worst case scenario. But like, realistically, if you're someone who consistently pays their shit, then I'm honestly it's not really a question.
It's honestly just, I don't feel like, I don't want to send this back to this incredibly sketchy person who like, yeah.
No.
Like, and I'm just like, you guys should
send me a return label.
They did send me a return label. And then they're like, once we get it back, we'll process your refund. And I'm like, well, you guys have been really like evasive the entire time. And I don't think that should be how it works at this point, because you fucked up like 10 times on the customer service front. Like, I'm at a goodwill to give to you, but I don't know what to say back to them.
This is what I would do. Look, it's here if you want it. Come pick it up. It's in a box. You send FedEx to come pick it up. No, come pick it up in my house. I'm not going anywhere, but it's here in a box if you want it. And, fine, don't refund me. I'm filing a chargeback. You did not send me the goods I ordered. So that's it. That's a no-brainer. That is a chargeback option. Didn't receive product. You didn't receive a product. You receive a different product, but you didn't receive the product. So that's it.
So I should just email them back being like, I'm going to file a chargeback?
Yeah, just be like, yeah.
I feel like I just want to like lay it out to them and be like, look, your customer service has been hard to get a hold of, evasive. I had to remind you 3 times how to send a tracking number, and this is your fault, and I don't feel like I should have to wait.
To be honest,
I don't know. Like, I'm just like, I feel like since they're giving me a return label, I don't have much of a claim.
No, you have a claim. You have a claim because, look, first of all, this is Dunkin' Donuts. If this was like Jan's shirt store, fine, then maybe we can be humans about it. Yeah, I'm not going to treat you like a human if you're not treating me like a human and you have billions of dollars. Fuck Dunkin' Donuts. You know?
I'm so shocked.
So, like, I don't know. This is my new thing. If it's a big company, if it seems well capitalized and put together and it's not like a person, then I'm like sending an email that's like, I'm doing a chargeback, bye.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting into it because you don't deserve it. I shouldn't have to explain. I shouldn't have to explain how transactions work to you. Yeah. You know, and I don't mean that in a condescending way to customer service people who probably hate it just as much as you do, but rather like the organization. It's like, screw you. Then you get zapped for a chargeback, and I hope you do.
Right.
Like, screw you,
I just don't want to
like,
get zapped for it. I don't know what happens really if you... I've never done one before.
You won't get zapped. No. If the thing is, the only people who can't use chargebacks are people who abuse it. I mean... Yeah. You know, I have a good credit card. Yeah, I would generally advise people never use a debit card.
No, this was foolish.
Always
Listen to your bank if they're like, this seems like fraud. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm a little worried you might have been defrauded.
No,
like,
I wasn't.
Who runs?
I mean, it's like,
no offense.
I'm seriously like, who runs shopdunkin.com? Because I literally think it's just some random ass dude who is like, yeah, I'll make some Dunkin' merch. Like, I don't understand this at all. But I mean, it's kind of like, I did eventually get the item I ordered, but it is this weird back channel of Dunkin' Donuts that I'm never doing.
Okay, so you typed in dunkindonuts.com.
Well, like, I got an email from
and then you
Dunkin'
hit shop.
Donuts.
I want to see how janky this. Okay, so you didn't even go.
I mean, I think I either went on the site or I got an email blast because I'm in their rewards program, and I got these a lot, and I was always like refraining, or the stuff would always sell out. And this time I was like, oh man.
What did you buy? Like a shirt? It's a shirt, right?
A Dunkin' onesie.
A Dunkin' onesie. I'm not seeing this anywhere on the website. Now I am starting to think you were defrauded.
Oh shit, for real?
Random. Oh, shopdunkin.com. Does that sound right?
Yeah, shopdunkin.com.
Yeah, this feels like this is like a licensed website. No, I think you nailed that. I think somebody said like, "Hey, I can sell Dunkin' goods."
Yeah.
And Dunkin' Donuts is like, "Yeah, that's fine. You just give us a cut."
Yeah, I'm like, this is incredibly off. So
no, yeah, this is mad shady because then if you click the social links, if you click the links, it goes to the main Dunkin' pages. So it's trying to present it like this is Dunkin's website.
I'm saying, but I'm like, it's literally some random dude in Louisiana running this like back alley operation, and he is like hiring random interns to do his customer service, interns who've never spoken to a person before.
Yeah. Oh, it's something called BAMCO because it says BAMCO customer service.
Yeah, it's really.
Oh my God! What?
First of all, I locked my debit card immediately. I was like, once they started being idiots about and like really evasive about my tracking number, I was like, this isn't good. So I locked my debit card like right away, so it can't be used. I'll just report it as fraud.
Yeah, no. F BAMCO. Guys, do not buy merch. Not that Sarah, look, we got to roast you a little bit because you're over here buying Dunkin' merch. Like, Dunkin', okay, great.
I'm sad.
Guys, do not buy. BAMCO makes merch for Hulu, New Balance, AT&T, Nike, Adidas,
How
Sephora,
do you make merch
Coca-Cola.
for Nike? Nike is its own merch company.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate BAMCO now.
No, don't do it. They're worse than UPS. You know what? I'll say it.
Yeah.
So filing a chargeback after this?
BAMCO.
Cool.
Charge them back, guys. Don't even explain.
No, I guess I'm just going to email them back and being like, this is ridiculous. Filing a chargeback.
Shipping charge for returns, exchanges are non-refundable regardless of circumstances.
Excuse me? Fuck you. That's
not
a scam.
How it works.
So you can just
that's a scam.
Wow. So they can just purposely send people the wrong shit and then be like, oh, you have to pay to send it back? Okay, you're right. I'm doing a chargeback.
Good luck, BAMCO. You do not want to bark up this tree. Sarah better get her money back, honey, because we will come for you.
Yeah, this is so sketch.
We have found you now, BAMCO, and your shady Louisiana bullshit. Scam company.
Scam company, right?
You're paying for the... Oh, yeah, right?
Oh, we sent you the wrong shit, but yeah, we're not going to like pay for it unless you send it back.
I love that they thought I would literally
dime.
just randomly... I don't know, buy stamps, buy my own packaging and send this off to Louisiana because they said so? Like, absolutely not. What kind of company is this?
But and here's the thing, and this is why I will go nuclear on these people. It's why I went nuclear on OfferUp. Some of the true blues in the crowd know what I'm talking about, and I did win my OfferUp battle. It's the problem is, Sarah, is that, you know, and I have been criticized. I have been called whiny, and you called yourself a Karen. But the truth is, does this bother me immensely? But it more bothers me the more I think about there are people who don't know better, who are intimidated by harsh language, who are maybe young or simply naive or for any myriad of reasons, and they would succumb to this and they would actually do it and they would eat $15 because shit-ass BAMCO will not do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy. So sketch.
Complete madness. Completely sickening.
So sketch. So fuck Dunkin'. I have a 3-minute TikTok ready. Fire. It's firing on all cylinders. I'm ready.
I can't wait to see this thing, guys. We're building hype for this TikTok.
I'm mad. You're right.
This thing is going to break the internet.
I'm going to report this like right when we get off the podcast.
I can't wait.
And then I'll probably order a new debit card as well.
There we go. And get out of debit land.
I never buy stuff on my credit card, but they just wouldn't let me. And I was like, I have to get this onesie like a fucking fool. So yeah, don't buy.
No, it's a good gift.
Yeah.
Hey, you know everyone's favorite store, shopdunkin.com. Don't use it.
Yeah, no, definitely don't.
I'm just kidding. I get it. No, I like Dunkin's branding. Right? I do. I'm not going to lie.
I was like, come on, this is so
cute.
fun.
Dunkies. It's fun. The pink, the orange. It's good. We love it. We love the branding. The donuts suck. Work on the donuts. All right, guys. Wow, what an open. First of all, let me just say thank you to our bevy of new patrons. We love to see Alexa, Hannah, Cynthia, Katie, Samantha, and Eric. Welcome to the Judge Judas. Yep. God, it's really a joy. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate your support. Please rate, review, subscribe. I did finally cancel, report spam, unsubscribe. I'm really not going to read the reviews now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I really did it.
Proud of you.
I really did it. So, and thank you though. And that's so stupid. And I'm sorry, guys. I just had to realize this is a limit of my own self. Okay. Because we get so many positive, glowing reviews. Please put those in the form. Please put those right in the form. Please email us. In fact, I added a new thing. That's right. We have a new feature. Oh. Dare I say, I don't even know if I told you about this, Sarah. Yeah. I updated the website. We've got some new press on there from Inverse. You can check that out. And now, this is technological advancement. You can actually put your email address when you submit a sitch. This is for sometimes people submit really horrible things that I don't want to post, but you know, yikes. I do feel like you deserve a response so that I can tell you like, yeah, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry that's happening to you. Run away or whatever.
Okay, I have to, this is a bit of a hot take, Danny, but we talked about this. I'm wondering if it's okay to bring up on the pod.
Yeah, just go for it.
I want to do a moratorium on AITA for cutting off blah, 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 blah posts because we get so many of them. And honestly, people, I like to think that all of you are like normal, reasonable people who don't just cut people off willy-nilly, even though that's a meme, but in reality, nobody does that. So if you have gone into, and cutting somebody off is an extreme, it's really the last resort. It is the nuclear option. I think that every single person listening to this is a rational, reasonable person who would not go that far if there was not a good reason. So it's pretty much like a blanket NTA for me. I don't see there really being a situation in which you would be the asshole for cutting someone off because there's always something that gets you to that point. So please, spare me.
Right. No, I understand your frustration. Look, I think boundaries entered the popular consciousness as a commonplace word relatively recently. And I think you've stated this for a long time. You can break up with anyone for any reason. And that's true across all relationships. And that's basically what that question always comes down to. I think the one gray area is, parents, right? Like your parents are raising you. You might hate your parents, and we all hate our parents. I think that's the problem about that dynamic is that we literally all hate our parents, even if they're good. Some of us should hate our parents because they're sincerely bad parents. Mm-hmm. I think that's the one confusing gray area. But once you are 18, I am willing to lay down the law and say that if you're having an urge to cut someone out of your life, you have every right to do that. And you're never the asshole. You're allowed to have whatever relationship with whoever you want. I'll say this, though, Sarah, I think a lot of people, I might even go over half. I'm not sure. Are in relationships that essentially they psychologically can't leave for this or that reason. Like I don't know if it's the rule, but it's certainly common. And a lot of that is because the other person won't leave them alone and won't let up, and I'm super respectful of boundaries, and I had a friend, we kind of had this back and forth and she said I just need time to heal. And you know what? I gave her the time, I gave her the space, and now I consider her one of my best friends. And there just are situations where shit like that goes down and you need to ask someone for space. That's really the best way to start this is just to ask for space. Mm-hmm. And if they respect your space, then they're at least doing something right. Right. They respect your space, they respect you on some level. If they violate, then it starts to be well, listen, you can't even respect my space, my man. You're out.
100%. I feel like anybody writing in is already so emotionally beaten down to the point where they're doubting their own sort of sanity. Yes. And so, I mean, I can empathize 100% because I have been there, but it's also just everybody writes in with this question and there are so many of them. So I'm I wish you guys would understand that if you have to even ask, the answer is no, you're not the asshole because this person is trying to just pull some manipulation stunt on you. But we have never gotten a situation where it's like my best friend of 27 years, I don't know, accidentally elbowed me, and so I cut her off. Like, we've never gotten a situation like that. It's always like, am I the asshole for cutting off this person who was never my friend, who constantly took advantage of me, who like was objectively mean to me all the time, and finally they killed my dog. Like,
yeah. AITA for cutting out someone who tried to murder me repeatedly.
It's seriously, it's always just like they've been mistreated for so long, and they finally just have had enough.
No, I mean, it's a dark world. It's a dark world where your sense of self is so, downtrodden and small that you don't even feel like it's okay to tell this person, leave me alone.
It's, it's like, I mean, and I'm glad that, like, hopefully hearing Not the Asshole can, like, bolster, like, you to have, to trust yourself. Honestly, that's what it is. Like, to just trust yourself and trust your instincts and trust that you're doing the right thing for you.
Yes.
So yeah, if it can do that, then I'm only joking about the moratorium.
Yeah, we're still going to let those posts happen. Obviously, just because Sarah's getting annoyed. But look, I think it's clear. I think, we know I've definitely been there. I've been in a place of tremendous self-doubt and confusion and
me too.
Feeling it's a bad place to be. And if our little Facebook group can offer you some solace. I mean, look, guys, that's why I added the email, because there's people where I'm like, look, I am not posting this. This is insane. I can't post this because, personally, I don't want to go on Facebook and read about the worst thing I've ever read. Like, that's just and we don't really cover things that are super, super dark, but I want to respond to these people because I'm like, hey,
that's very kind. There are definitely certain things where I'm like, we should not put this in a public forum, but not the asshole and get out of there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, much love, guys. Thanks for subscribing and thanks for posting and submitting, and super thanks for reviewing. Again, if you have positive words or negative words and you want a response, I actually would much rather you, if you're going to be negative, I'd rather you say it to my face, because then I know that you're actually trying to, teach me something or instruct me on something that actually pissed you off or whatever, rather than just, take me down a peg. I hate myself. Don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. Guys, we're going to do a little bit of guess the verdict. Go. AITA for refusing to eat at a very expensive restaurant on my birthday.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole is wrong. Here's the deal. I got to say, OP is quite a character.
Oy.
OP loves ice skating. She does. But she hates spending money, and she hates having money spent on her.
Oh, so she just likes when the pond freezes over? Like, what do you... Okay.
I'm not sure. I've never heard that phrase. Is that a thing? The pond freezing over?
To go ice skating? How do you go ice skating if you don't like spending money?
Oh, wow. Look at you. You're like on this au natural ice skating. I picture like a polar ice, like a giant stucco building with a thing in the middle. That's what happens when you're born in Arizona. Anyway, OP, after they go ice skating, they go to this fancy dinner. And OP refuses to order. The dinner cost $900,
Whoa.
Okay? And OP just sits there watching.
Oh, that's...
Can you imagine that?
Absurd.
I was like, no. And at that point, I was like, this OP sucks. This OP really sucks. That's a crazy thing. But then you learn OP has done this before.
Good Lord.
At another really expensive dinner, not on her birthday, she abstained from a meal. This was in July for anyone who's counting. Okay? Top comment went to Ski-Doo. ESH, it isn't your money. How it is spent is not your concern. Causing unnecessary drama by sitting there refusing to eat is nonsense.
How is it an ESH? And not just the YTA?
They wrote change to ESH. Change the ESH because they really should have taken her concerns into account on her birthday. Pick a different occasion to go there.
That's for sure.
And I'm frankly not on board. I think it's a not the asshole, and they are. Because if OP is the asshole for abstaining from a meal the first time, because that's just a ridiculous behavior. What are you doing?
Yeah.
By the way, not a moral objection, right? Like if you're like, oh, well, we need to donate all our money to save people dying of whatever disease in impoverished nations, then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you have a principle. But if it's just like, I don't like to spend money, man, it's like, okay, so you're just Scrooge McDuck and you're not eating. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's right? Like, that's an asshole.
That's stupid.
But yeah, I feel like it's OP's birthday. So don't do the thing that OP hates. Like, yes, that is definitely asshole-ish.
Yeah.
Come on.
I guess I'd still go ESH because it's just like ultimately they were trying to do a nice thing and you just made a scene. and acted just childish.
No, but they knew. It was the same people who OP had walked away or refused to eat at a dinner with. I'm like, they knew.
Yeah, I guess.
They were definitely trying to.
I don't know. I'm not ready to give them
agenda.
a pass for their childishness, so I'm going to ESH, but I completely agree with you that they shouldn't have tried it again.
Fair enough.
All right. AITA for keeping my dorm room dark during the day.
Oh my God. What are the liberals teaching on our college campuses that somebody cannot keep their dorm in utter darkness? This is the radical left.
Okay.
Nonetheless, Sarah, you are known to play little tricks, and so I'm going to say YTA.
YTA is wrong. So OP's in a normal dorm room with a roommate. OP has migraines. She had a really bad migraine that lasted 2 days. She had to lay as still as possible in the dark, noise-canceling headphones, all that kind of stuff.
Yikes.
Yeah. So the roommate came back a few times, turned on the lights. Then OP basically was like, hey, can you turn off the light or at least be quick with it? And the roommate just got defensive and said, this is my room too, and if you can't handle a little light, you shouldn't be here. And while the roommate said that, OP had to get up to throw up because the migraines were so bad. And so OP is asking if they are the asshole. The verdict was, well, this was marked a no assholes here, but the top comment was, yeah, WTF 20. I'm conflicted because there are light-canceling eye masks and it's her room too. Was she really supposed to crawl around in the dark in her own room for 2 days?
And they didn't give a verdict?
They didn't give a verdict. Let's see what the top comment is with a verdict.
Blast. That kind of sounded like a YTA.
It was NAH. The two of you might be incompatible roommates. She has a reasonable expectation to be able to use the lighting, blah, blah, fucking blah. You have a reasonable expectation to be in an environment conducive to treating your health disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm with it. I mean, I get it. I mean, look, I don't know that I blame the roommate because if I just came in one day and my roommate's like, it must remain dark. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and she didn't even explain, I have a migraine.
Yeah. How would they know? Right. And if you're incapacitated, it's a situation, I get it. Yeah. But yeah, I am leaning NAH. I think, but I do think that could definitely be a deal breaker and incompatibility. And, you just, come on. I mean, if it's 6 p.m., someone needs to have I want to study or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you kind of need to be upfront about in your roommate forms or whatever.
Absolutely. AITA for not bringing my wife to son's wedding.
I think I read this one. What happened? Bringing the wife to the son's wedding. The wife's family was really homophobic, and the son was getting married to a man, or it was a queer wedding. And so the husband came and the wife didn't. So it was a big fat NTA. NTA is right. Yeah. Wow, you really do know your sitches. This is sad. I have no life. You summed it up perfectly. I really can't add anything. And I literally read it and made notes on it. So you really are the queen. I can tell you this, though, Sarah, the top comment by Floating with O'Brien, NTA. But honestly, why are you with this woman when you can't even agree to love your children? And that is exactly what I'm talking about. The kind of person who lives a very, suboptimal life. Certainly seems like a sanitized way to put it. And it's you're literally with someone who hates your child. Yeah, that's who you are. I don't understand the level of cognitive dissonance to stay married to that person. I truly don't get it. Oh, I do. Really? I do. Wow. Yeah, because, think about this, Sarah, their marriage is probably longer than our life or comparably, right? It's probably 20 years. And if you're someone who is afraid of, re-entering the wilderness of being single, and you don't have a strong kind of moral core, which obviously this person, doesn't, right? You don't have a strong sense of principles. You don't have a strong sense of self. They're standing up for their kids, so that's something, but it's not everything. That's true. They're standing up for their kids, and there's also a part where, OP is giving money and paid for the wedding and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, do they have a strong sense of self? It probably sounds like not. And ultimately, they probably, and this may be somewhat of a reach, but they probably are also a victim in other ways, right? Of someone who could be so cold to look at their own son. My God. Yeah. No, that's horrible. I mean, God, to not have a relationship with your child. I mean, it's sickening. No, it's horrible. I mean, it's disgusting. They're probably eating OP's brains for dinner, God knows how they treat OP, right? It's probably horrible. Yeah, no, you're right. I get it. AITA for abusing. Abusing is in quotes. My cat. Oh boy. What kind of terrorism is this, Sarah?
Well, what would they mean? They probably doing something for the good nature of the cat, for the well-being of the cat, but the cat doesn't like it. I mean, is giving a cat a bath abuse? I'm going no assholes here.
No assholes here is wrong. So OP is, I'm sorry. OP is 18, has a cat. The cat has lost a lot of weight recently. Like you can see his spine. Due to COVID, OP's mom can't afford to take the cat to the vet. So that's that. But the cat is still really skinny. OP had a friend come over, noticed that the cat is so thin, and the friend like freaked out. And OP's like, we can't afford to take her to the vet right now, blah, blah, blah. But the friend is like screaming that OP and their family's horrible for abusing the cat. The top comment was very, very soft YTA. If your cat is unwell, she should be taken for veterinary treatment. Many vets will offer payment plans, or you could try local shelters or charities to see if they could assist. Your friend's reaction was way overblown, but this does need looking into.
Absolutely. Skinny kitty. You hate to see it, people.
Or cat.
Sarah is the AITA queen. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe, throw us in on the thing. This is the longest
I know, it's
ever
like 45
gone.
minutes, and that's the up. Goodbye.
And that's the up. No real sitches, no people. We're still going to do it. Again, a round of applause for Sarah because this is her third recording of the day.
Thank you.
Our second story of the day. AITA for telling my GF her hair stinks. But first, folks, AITA for refusing to put on my top while I was sunbathing in front of my friends. This weekend, me and my friends wanted to hang out one more time before finals and the holidays. We live in a very warm part of the country where it's essentially summer. So we went to my friend's big house to spend the weekend and use her pool. 2 of the guys in my friend group invited their girl space friends. In total, there were 4 ladies and 3 men. I'm not American. I've only lived in the US for the past 3 years, and I'm still learning some things about the country and what's acceptable here and what's not. So I just wanted to sunbathe a little before joining in the pool, during which I took off my bikini top. In my home country, there really isn't an issue with women wanting to sunbathe topless. I didn't think it was obscene or inappropriate, and honestly, I'm not particularly well endowed, so I didn't think it was too attention grabbing. I was on my stomach first and then switched to my back. I don't think I was being stared at, but I had my eyes closed most of the time. Whenever I did open them, no one was focused on me. About 10 minutes in, the 2 invited guests came up to me. If they had just said, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable with you being topless around my partner. Could you please put on your top?" I would have done it. But what she did was drop my top on my stomach and say that I need to put my breasts away in front of her man. Now, because I thought she was just being rude, for no reason, as I didn't know I was being unnormal, I said no. Then she said, "I don't know what they do in France." I'm not even French.
The ultimate burn. I'm not even French.
But here, most women don't parade themselves around like this unless they are a whore.
Jeez.
So I got mad and an argument ensued. Their boyfriends came to break it up, and my friend pulled me to the side and explained to me that this wasn't typical in the US, and the guys had been looking at me a lot, so I put back on my top. Now, the boyfriends are trying to get me to apologize, which I don't think I should, and think I was being a jerk. AITA.
Oof.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Very juicy.
Yeah. I saw you highlighted. Honestly, I'm not particularly well endowed, so I didn't think I was too attention grabbing. I mean, that's not a thing.
That doesn't seem
that's
relevant to me.
Bullshit.
Also, I don't like the phrase well endowed because I don't know, I guess just numerically, I've heard that so much more for men. So if a woman says that, I'm like, oh, she has a small penis. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is that stupid?
Kind of.
That's stupid. One of the stupidest things I've ever said.
It's all good.
Pretty dumb.
No, but I'm like, that's not like an appropriate part of your argument. If your argument is this isn't a sexual thing, it's like, oh, so if you had bigger boobs, it would be inherently sexual? No. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. I'm allowed to whip my dick out because I have a shitty dick. Is that not the law?
Right.
Is that not the law,
exactly.
officer?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not relevant.
No.
That's not relevant. And I think OP is potentially kind of, I feel that perhaps they had not consciously internalized the idea that this was not normal, but I feel like they must have known on some level.
I know,
3
that's
years,
kind of what everyone's saying. It's hard for me to be totally like neutral when I already read the comments, but it's just like, it doesn't take you a long time to gauge what is normal or what's not normal in a place, because it's like, hey, are you outside? Are you, sunbathing? Are the women topless? If not, that's not really what we do here. And
Oh my God.
It's a 30-second assessment. Like, I don't really understand.
And it's subconscious too. I mean, that's one of the most exciting parts about travel is you start making all these connections and seeing all these things that people who live there can't even see, right? Because it's there every day, but it's brand new to you. So I'm like, how would you not make this observation? Nonetheless, I too have been tainted by the comments. I want to just go to my kind of initial thoughts, which are, I do know that someone here is being incredibly forceful. I do not think, even in this situation, first of all, we got to go into reality as real talk, which is like, she's showing her tits in front of adults. Okay. Not a big deal.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Right. We've all
not
seen
a big
boobs,
deal. Simply not. We've all seen boobs. Is there a sexual element in America where that plays as like trying to seduce your man? That's fine. I can give her that, but I cannot give her the blatantly disrespectful and condescending way that she did this and saying, I need to put her breasts away in front of her man. 100%. I'm not a fan of any of that.
That's so dumb.
Any of that.
That is so dumb.
Exactly. And I mean, and this is classic, Sarah, where we talk about always center things about yourself. It always sounds better. Hey, I feel uncomfortable. Great.
Yeah.
Not complicated. You feel uncomfortable. You know, don't make it about your man. It can be about your man, right? You don't feel comfortable with your man looking at that. Great. Just make it about you so it doesn't seem like you're doing something by proxy.
100%. You know? It's also just like, weird. All right, lady, if this girl was trying to seduce your man, I think she tried to be a little more subtle, don't you?
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And then to jump immediately into whore, I mean, I don't think that this is real because the only people that I know who call people whores are literally the Real Housewives and they're 60 years old. Like, nobody our age, you call somebody a hoe, you'd call them a slut. You're not going to call them a whore.
No, I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm happy you know such good people, but people do still talk
use the word whore.
They do.
I've never heard someone our age like use that as a true insult.
Well, with love, you are in your little LA bubble. I'll take you on a little Arizona tour or New York bubble.
All right, good to know. I thought we used more updated words. I thought we called each other like hoes and sluts, but sure.
No, I heard a friend of mine recently dropped the WH
Seriously?
word. So
wow.
Yep, and I came down on them. I said, "Nuh-uh, we're not going there."
Good for you.
But yeah, I mean that was crooked. I'm telling you though, we are in very liberal cities. People definitely still talk like this and are still ugly like this. I mean, look,
I know
in New York City, here's the other thing.
But I just didn't think that people our age talked like this.
Yeah, I mean, look, not cool people.
Yeah,
obviously, people who listen to Joe Rogan. Oh, Danny, I listen. Actually, no, nobody listens to this podcast. Very few. Danny, I listen to Joe Rogan. How dare you? Okay.
Yeah, they'll come through the woodwork now.
What was my next point?
You asked for it.
Yeah. No, I've listened to a fair amount of Joe Rogan. Okay. All right. I don't really necessarily like the program, but I like Joe Rogan. I mean, look, I like Joe Rogan's story. Like, who goes from Fear Factor to the biggest podcaster in the world? What kind of transition is that? You went from like being a show where people
too many
eat
like
bugs.
bull testicles and went off the deep end. Like, I don't know. I'm like, what happened to you, man?
I mean, just who could have foreseen that the man who's like, yeah, eat horse cum if you want money,
seriously,
would then become the most important voice in modern culture to men? I mean,
God.
What happened there, people?
I guess we should have seen it coming when they started eating cockroaches. So, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, the other aspect here is that, while we could start to launch an attack on OP, and it's there for being culturally insensitive, and I think cultural sensitivity is a thing, I mean, come on. But the reality is that it's actually not so straightforward. In New York City, for instance, which is in America, last time I checked, it's perfectly legal to have your boobs out. And I happen to know there's a beach in Miami, South Beach, where it's perfectly legal to have your boobs out. So it's not quite monolithic. There are situations in the United States where you can let the tatas out for a little la-la.
Yeah, you can. But I guess I also think if I were to show up to my friend's rooftop party in New York City topless, it's allowed. Would it be a little weird to do? I think so.
Would it be any different, really, though, from wearing something extremely revealing, like a G-string or something?
Well, I wouldn't do that either.
Well, I know you wouldn't, but I'm saying...
You mean because, butts aren't illegal in some parts of the country?
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately like, yeah, you're showing off the goods, but people would remark on it.
I guess I'm just like, I don't know, the vibe, regardless of the legality of it, is like what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think anyone's saying that OP deserves to be locked up or like given a ticket for indecent exposure. No. That would be crazy. Or sorry, that would be absurd. But it's just like you misjudged the vibe.
That's really the part that I'm struggling with. You know, I want to see OP in this pristine light, like, oh, I didn't know Americans did it this way, or whatever accent they have, but it just kind of seems like, how did you not know? No policy writes ESH. You've been here 3 years and you've not figured out that sunbathing nude in a group setting is not the norm in the US? You should know by now.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's also just at any party, like, you know, what is the norm? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, yes, absolutely. I mean, look, to go the other way with it, if you go to another country where the rules are different, okay, and you act like the rules are not there, and then people are rude to you, I would say, well, yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, if you went to a European restaurant and you're like, why the fuck isn't there ice in my drink? I would be like, well, you're an asshole. Like, that's not how it works. I'm trying to think of a better example than that because...
No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's kind of like, obviously, I think if you go somewhere and that's a person's house or a different country or anything, you kind of don't want to stand out too much because you want to kind of suss out the vibe and be respectful, you know?
Yeah, but if you do want to go guns blazing, you know, that's your right. But then I feel like you can't be surprised when people are put off.
That's true, but I still have to really come much harder because, like, even if a girl did show up to a party topless or whatever, you know, first of all, I'd like to believe that, you know, personally, if it was my party, I'd be like, well, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Not that can't happen, but let's just say it was kind of a classy party for whatever reason. I don't know who I'm trying to impress, but I would definitely not, I would just be like, hey, I'm just concerned that people at the party will not, you know, be comfortable and, you know, I guess I'm violating my own rule there by not making it about myself.
I mean, even if OP did commit a faux pas, the way that these people came at her was like wildly inappropriate and out of proportion.
Yeah, I like that. I think calling this a faux pas is an extremely fair thing. And I don't think committing a faux pas is asshole-ish. I think it's inept.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of the mark of a faux pas.
Because honestly, I will say, even like suntanning face down with no top on is completely fine. Like, people do that at like the pool that I go to. They will untie their bikini straps and just, you know, so you're essentially topless. Laying on their stomach. And
what pool? What pool do you go to? What pool?
So no, I just feel like flipping over, I guess, was the faux pas. And that's not that, like, I guess I can't come so hard for that because it's such a small thing when you put it in perspective.
Yeah, you're right. And that does actually give OP a lot more credibility in terms of, like, it just kind of slipped their mind. It's hard for me to believe it, nonetheless.
You don't want those tan lines. Like, whatever, lady, I'll give it to you.
I'm seeing a lot of ESHs. Honey Penny, ESH. This seems like a BS excuse for seeing some kind of point you're trying to make. I live in Europe, and even here we have special nude beaches. So no, it's not normal to just whip your top off. They were very rude also. But that's a reaction to you. Still, they were assholes to speak to you in that manner. You should have asked beforehand. It's just polite, and they do it here in the EU too. I have to say, that's really hurting OP's case for me. Now I am starting to think,
but there are like so many countries in Europe
where you can just show.
I'm just saying, like that's like saying someone's custom like across the country is different from you, and therefore it's invalid. It's like, Europe is huge.
Yeah.
We don't know. Maybe this person didn't want to say what country they're from, probably because it's like Reddit, you know, and you don't want to give away all your identifying details, but like Reddit, I don't know, but like Europe is huge. So I think we all know that Europe doesn't have a blanket policy on topless sunbathing.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
That just means that they're not from the same country.
Yeah. Charlie Feiner writes, ESH, any nudity that's beyond the cultural norm of a situation should be consented to from the people you're with. But they were rude about how they handled it, and guys shouldn't have ogled you. Also, YTA for saying I'm not particularly well endowed. Can people who post in here about boobs stop acting like women with small ones don't get checked out too? We definitely do.
But I think it's even more, I think the implication that it would be only inappropriate if she had big boobs is like worse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's the problem with it is not that it's an insult to people with small boobs. It's that, like, you've kind of inherently sexualized all people who have big boobs, and that's not really fair to them.
Right. But this is good. This is a good empathy point. I mean, I knew this obviously, but I guess I never really thought of it this way, which is like, this is another unfairness. And I think it is unfair, and I'm against it. Right. I'm against the fact that women can't show off their breasts, right? I can show off my breast. Is that the same word, or what would we say there? I have pecs, not breasts.
I have no idea. I was going to say pecs.
Yeah, pecs, sure.
Because you know, and
really by the way, I'll admit it.
Tissue, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
scientist.
you're right. It's not breast. It's pecs. I can show off my pecs. I can show off my nips. We all have pecs and nips. I think that's fair to say. And by the way, I'll confess, I'm a little self-conscious about my nips. I try to not really put the nips in. I don't know why. I don't think there's anything bad about my nips. I don't know. They're weird. I don't like showing my nips. Anyway, that's my own issue.
Okay.
I think it's unfair that, you know, guys can just whip out their pecs and nips like it's no big deal, and women can't because, for instance, as you guys know, I like to run shirtless, you know, solicit my thirst on Insta. This is legal, I am told. I like to get my little thirsty comments. By the way, there's a guy who always responds to my thirst, and shout out to him. I love him. But anyway, and it's bullshit, you know, it's bullshit that a woman can't show off her pecs and nips because it's just another classic, like, oh, sorry, you're a woman, so you're fucked, and that sucks.
I guess. I think you're kind of disproving your own argument because, like, you're saying that you like to be shirtless so that people will sexualize you. And I think the whole point of Free the Nipple is that breasts are not like an inherently sexual organ, or they shouldn't be.
Interesting.
So the point is really just to more be able to have bodily autonomy than like I should be able to have people, you know, compliment my body.
Interesting. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because I am saying, well, I guess I feel like, yeah, but nobody's going to come at me, Sarah. Nobody's going to be like, oh, Danny, you're showing off your shirt, you nasty, you know, no one's going to call me a
but
WH
I also think
word.
that the problem is like a guy who's shirtless is not going to immediately be seen by everybody as showing off because we just accept that that's like a normal state for men to exist in public, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. There's something more, there's more judgment more judgment is going to hit you if you were to do this as a woman.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's bullshit. It feels good to run topless. So that's the name of the movement, Free the Nip, huh?
Yeah, I know that's like a big thing on Instagram. I don't know what the status of it was, but like any guy can post shirtless on Instagram, but if a woman's nipple is visible, it'll get like flagged, taken down for nudity. So I don't know what the status of it is anymore, but that was where I think that's kind of where it came out.
You know, I wonder, that's kind of an interesting question about culture. If nips were everywhere, would they still be able to be sexualized if they were so commonplace that you knew what everyone's nips were like? You know, would you still be, who's to say? Interesting. Yeah. These are the questions that keep me up at night that have vexed philosophers for centuries.
Oh my God.
Nonetheless, speaking of philosophers, AITA for refusing to put on my top while I was sunbathing in front of my friends. I think we
I don't even
agree.
know.
I think it's a very,
asshole?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to.
I don't know.
Okay, here's the other spin on this, right?
Sure.
Suppose, here's how, I don't know, it gets a little gnarly, but like in the end, right, like showing off your body, because someone brought up consent, right? So there's like this aspect of like, you're making other people feel sexual, you know, but see, then we have to go below the belt for this to work with men. That's the whole thing about
this is the whole problem because there's this
hard.
Like inherent double standard, so you can't really compare it to anything else because like, if she was out there bottomless, pussy out, we'd be like, yeah, no, obviously you're the asshole. And same thing with the men and his dick. So it's, I don't know, it's tough.
Right. There's no double standard below the belt.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough.
No, you know what? I'm going to give LP it. Because look, you were right. She was on her tummy. She decided to rotate. In her part of Europe, that flies. Come on, these are all adults. I mean, OP didn't say that they weren't adults. Like, we've all seen boobs. It's, like, not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I guess I kind of feel like even though she committed a faux pas and, like, I don't totally buy the innocence factor of it all, but it's just, like, I think if you were around a group of, like, mature people, they would do what the friend did and pull you aside and just be like, hey, no, this is not the move right now, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think we found it. AITA for refusing to put on my top. We agree. No asshole. Or sorry, not the asshole, and they are.
Yeah.
The girl was. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate that. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We're growing every month. The WhatsApp is popping off. We've got bi-weekly happy hours, occasional stand-up shows. We're going to get Sarah to do stand-up again eventually. And tons of bonus episodes. I think we're at like 90 or something. They're racking up quick. And we'd love to see you. You can get your own, you can do your own call-in show. You can do a partial call-in show. We really will make stuff happen for you. So please join us. We'd appreciate it. Thank you. AITA for telling my GF her hair stinks. Wow, this is very much my energy. I have a lot of problem with different smells. So my 20 GF 18 is a pretty clean person. She usually smells nice and showers daily. My problem with her, doesn't wash her hair regularly, only once or twice a week. It never looks bad, but it smells when I get close to her scalp. Her reasons? Dry scalp, coarse and thick hair, and the fact that she doesn't want to strip her hair of oils. She doesn't even use dry shampoo because she says she doesn't need it, which I can somewhat agree to. Her hair never looks oily. It just smells like strong scalp. I can't stand when she tries to cuddle me and gets her head close to my face because I hate the smell. I told her she needs to wash it, and she told me it's only been 3 days since her last wash, which sounds like too long to me. Am I wrong? AITA.
Oof.
Tough.
I will say that, like, okay, number one, what the hell does strong scalp smell like? I'm trying to empathize and I don't understand. But like,
I can say this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, tell me.
I love to smell my girl's hair. It's like one of my faves. So the idea of having this experience ruined, like, by it not smelling good is hard for me. I really like to pull a girl in and just smell her scalp.
It is tough. No, I get it. But I'm like, weird. What the hell does strong, like, what is a bad scalp smell? I can't imagine it. And I just don't understand. But the thing is that's like, I can understand this guy because like everyone in the comments who's like, YTA, just get over it. It's like, how do you get over a smell not liking it?
No,
you can't like trick yourself into liking the smell. And that is tough.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, 100%. I'm with you. You're right. Yes.
I'm like, what is he can't, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, you can't like reason yourself out of not liking that smell. So I'm like, what is he supposed to do? And that's going to.
What is he supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm like, what is he supposed to do? And like, she's definitely, like, she's not wrong because not wanting to wash your hair that often because your hair is coarse and thick and you have a dry scalp and you don't want to strip the oils is all completely reasonable. So she's not doing anything wrong with her hair washing schedule.
She's doing something wrong. She's doing something wrong. Anytime.
No.
She's doing something wrong, Sarah. Let me tell you something. Okay, fine. Then what are our options here? There's two scenarios.
I feel like it's one thing if your hair smells bad and like sweaty, but I don't know what strong scalp means. So I'm just kind of like.
It smells bad. Here's the options. One, he's a particularly sensitive smeller, which I frankly think is possible, but not likely. In all likelihood, whenever in life you seem to have a unique problem, I promise you, it's not unique. There are 5 billion people with a problem, roughly. Like, there's something that she's doing that is just not working. And I'm sure there's a solution to this that is a couple Googles away. I'm not trying to lay it all on her. I mean, this could be flipped any myriad directions, but ultimately this is like, yes, hygiene is an important thing that two people need to agree on that literally affects your ability to like be physically affectionate. And the fact that
I just don't think putting this all on her is like not fair because it's just like she's doing what works for her hair and she's not like the asshole because he doesn't like this alleged strong scalp smell. It's more of just like, it should be some sort of compromise. And her hair doesn't like look oily. So I'm like, by hair health standards, this is okay in my book.
So you hear these numbers, 3 days since last wash, all this, and you're like, that's normal.
Yeah. I know people who do this. Washing your hair is really dependent on like your hair type and texture. And like, there is evidence that like shampooing your hair is bad for it because it does strip it of the oils. So, no. And if it doesn't look oily.
I'm getting hit with a memory right now.
Hit me.
This shit went down for me. This is crazy. I didn't even know some shit like this could happen. I had been hanging out with this girl. She was hot. And we went to be physical and she had a smell that I found repellent. Absolutely repellent. And I thought, no problem, we'll just shower. Wrong. It was her actual smell. Like, it was just the smell of her. And it was really frustrating because I was like, God, she's attractive. Like, this is so weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard about things like this where like pheromones and like some other kind of crazy genetic information is being broadcast. And I'm almost wondering if this isn't something like that because, God, this was such a weird situation. I was like, I had a good rapport with her and we were having a good time. And then it was like, I was physically not attracted to her, like 0%. It went to 0. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess because it's like he can't pinpoint the smell. And so it's just kind of like, well, it doesn't seem like it's a hygiene issue. It just seems like it's this routine works for her. You don't personally like this smell. So I feel like they should talk about it.
I mean, look, I think this is a deal breaker. I think this is a incompatibility. I guess the only wiggle room I see is on her side, right? As you put perfectly, it's a smell. He's having the reaction he's having. There's nothing he can do. There just isn't, besides not smell her, which is crazy.
Yeah, like not crazy. Cuddle. You're not gonna... It's like easy to say, but then in a real relationship, like, what are you going to actually do? Like, never hug. I think that there's things that she can do. Like, if she doesn't like dry shampoo, which is fine, like, perfume, like you could just spritz your hair a little bit. Baby powder.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has to try something. I don't have the answers. I don't know about hair.
I think they need to try something, and he just shouldn't be coming in like being like, oh, you need to wash your hair. You need to do this. It's just like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what she needs to do. Like, and you and you can't be out here telling someone what they need to do. Like, it's one thing if they haven't showered in a week, then it's like, okay, this is a health thing. But like,
no, you're right. And that violates a rule that we always go back to, which is always frame it in terms of yourself. Hey, like, I'm not really comfortable with the reaction I'm having to your hair, instead of judging her and her processes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could slightly ding him for that. I'm leaning no assholes here because they're so young and, he doesn't actually quote himself. I guess he says, I told her she needs to wash it. I mean, I understand the impulse because I would probably say that too. I'd be like, yo, you stink. You stink. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Toughie. This is actually shockingly tough.
I mean, even in a situation like this, because I had a similar situation one time, and just being like, you need to do this is not the right approach. It should be like, hey, so like I was just thinking, and like, what if we both did, or whatever, you know what it is? Like, it's just coming in like you need to do this is just like reeks of, I don't know, presumption.
Yeah, no, you're right. And even coming in with if someone is a stinky winky, you want to kind of come at it more like, hey, I just got it right as I walked by you. I caught like this whiff of something. Did you like eat earlier or something? You don't want to go in hard and be like, you smell like
or like,
hell.
Hey, I think it would be really great if we both took a shower today at some point. Whatever the case may be.
Oh my God. Anyway, all right. So I'm not sure if we agree. I don't know. I don't have that much hate for this guy. AITA every time my GF her hair stinks. Are we going NAH?
I can meet you there because it seems like he said you need to wash it. And then it seems like he didn't really push it or go off on her. He wasn't like, I told her, no, this is absolutely disgusting and blah, blah, blah. So I think for now I can give them an NAH just because his response doesn't seem too like prolonged.
Love that. We met on NAH. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. We're going to wrap up here, folks. By the way, this has been an epic app. Thanks so much for sticking around. Thanks for your support. We appreciate it. Here we go. Listener submission, no title. Hi, Danny and Sarah. I am a new listener to the podcast. I have a hard situation I've been dealing with, but this story has way too much context for Reddit. Wow, we're at the longest episode ever, and now we're about to drop this novel on you all. Well, settle down by the fire. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. Here we go, folks. I, 24F, and my BF, 28M, met on Bumble last November. When we first started talking, I made it clear that my love life and my friends are completely separate. He mentioned before we met in person that he had a friend that he'd slept with, but they had only hooked up once when they were both drunk, and she took his virginity on his friend's couch when he was 24. Okay, OP is already kind of including some details that don't seem... Anyway.
I did cut this. I will tell you that much.
Oh, this was even longer before. Wow. Yep. He explained they aren't that close. He was never attracted to her. But when she came on to him while drunk, so he took the opportunity as he wanted to not be a virgin. Understandable. I could understand, but it doesn't sit right with me that if they were quote unquote friends, that she would take advantage of him while he's drinking and not have a consent conversation while sober, but that's just me. I mentioned I was uncomfortable with it, and he assured me it wouldn't be an issue as he doesn't talk or see her often. Fast forward a couple months down the roads, and he wants to introduce me to his friend group. It's 4 guys, including my BF and the girls they date. One of the couples is engaged. Important detail for later. This girl he had previously mentioned that he had slept with, we'll call her Helga, is dating one of his friends from high school in that group. Helga also, I come to find out, has slept with all the other guys in the group. I didn't really want to meet Helga, as my BF described her as somebody who doesn't always get along with everyone and can say off-putting things. Wait, am I Helga? JK. I asked if there was a way I could meet his other friends outside of meeting her, and he said it would be weird as they normally hang out as a group, and they don't get together often as everybody doesn't live as close to each other anymore. After a lot of convincing, I agreed to meet her. It was Helga, her BF, and another one of my BF's friends. I just stayed in the corner next to my boyfriend as everyone chatted and tried to keep quiet to be polite, as I was extremely uncomfortable.
Yikes.
I'm just picturing that meme, the they don't know meme with the person in the party in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know that I hate Helga.
Yeah.
We know. My boyfriend went to the next room to grab drinks, but was still within earshot. They were all joking about my BF's party last year and how one of his other male friends ended up crashing in his bed with them because they didn't have enough sleeping arrangements, and this friend was too tall to sleep on a smaller couch. I made a quick joke about how that won't be happening anymore, as that's my spot now.
Okay.
Helga then decided to laugh and chimed in loudly and said, "Doesn't she know how it works around here yet?" This obviously did not sit well with me, but I didn't say anything. I waited until his friends had left and kind of blew up on him, saying I wasn't going to be disrespected and talked down to like that. He insisted that he hadn't heard it and that if he had, he wouldn't have thought anything of it, as that's quote unquote just how she is. I set a hard boundary with him that I'm not going to be talked down to like that again. He tried calling her to have a discussion with her on it. She told him that, God damn it. She told him that, quote, it's just the way she is, and that she was, quote unquote, just joking and, quote unquote, get over it. It's not a big deal.
Oh my God, all the like, she also tried to hits.
I know, right? Really playing the now that's what I call narcissistic abuse, volume 7. She also tried to blame me for making a big deal over nothing. When my BF explained that I was obviously uncomfortable about their past and her comments made things worse, she blew up on him and said that it, quote unquote, wasn't my business. And why was he, quote unquote, going around telling people about her life? He explained that it is his life and past also, and that he wants to be honest with whoever he's dating. She told him that it wasn't a big deal. Damn, that's like really her thing. Helga always, not a big deal, not a big deal. It was a dumb decision they both made one time years ago and to just drop it and get over it. My boyfriend, who is heavily influenced by his friends, tried to then gaslight me into saying it wasn't a big deal.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Great.
And it wasn't a big deal and repeated her talking points. I pointed out the fact that he was invalidating my feelings and gaslighting me to appease his friends. And if that's what he felt, then I would just leave and find someone whose friends don't all sleep with each other. He ended up apologizing and agreeing with me and letting me know that he would not expect Helga and I to be friends, but just to coexist. They get the bumper sticker. Anyway. Fast forward. We're halfway done, guys. We're halfway done.
Oh, man.
We're halfway done, everybody. Let's pull over, kids. We're going to go to the gas station, all right? Don't drink too many liquids. I don't want to pull over again. Get a small drink. Here we go. Fast forward to my BF's birthday, and she makes a stink about not wanting to come and being, quote unquote, uncomfortable around me. I reassured my BF that I would say nothing, as I'm genuinely trying to make this work and be nice to Helga, but she is making it extremely hard. Once everyone goes to bed, Helga and her BF and the engaged couple take the 2 empty rooms downstairs that share a wall together. Now, this is where things get messy.
I'm like,
apparently, in the middle of the night.
This is where? No, already, okay, cool.
This is where the shit hits. No, OP, this is turning into an epic post. I have to say, I mean, I didn't know going into it.
It's on me for not cutting enough, but
you didn't bring us a title, OP, and so maybe something's going to happen where this is just beyond title.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot the title. Something about a wedding. Not letting my boyfriend go to like a wedding. I don't know.
A wedding?
It'll come up.
We're not even in a wedding.
That's what I'm telling you.
We're halfway through this.
Up. I know.
Here we go. Apparently, in the middle of the night, somehow the fiance just found out that her groom has slept with Helga years ago. Helga! This dissolved into a huge yelling match. Between the couple, where the fiance stormed out of the house and the future groom went after to chase her. Both Helga and her BF and the engaged couple left at 5 or 6 a.m. My BF and I woke up the next morning to find almost an empty house.
I'm sorry,
wow.
The screaming didn't wake you up?
I know, right? Also, like, what a mixed bag where you're like, well, now we have the house to ourselves. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, my boyfriend's best friend was there and explained about how there was a big fight between the engaged couple and the other couple, and both left early in the morning. My BF was very disappointed that his friends didn't stick around or at least say goodbye, but understood due to the circumstances. I then also told my BF about the comments she had made again and how they were directed at me, and that I'm not going to continue to pretend to be nice to someone who's outright rude. He agreed that the friend group is toxic. Wow. Get it in writing, OP. You love to hear it.
Oh my God. Welcome to the club.
He added that we can hang out with other friends and couples and to just avoid seeing Helga. But for most events with his friends, they'll be there. I thought this was a great compromise for both of us. The couple in question is still engaged, and Helga and BF were already invited to be a part of the wedding party, and to my surprise, that has not changed. We went to their engagement party, and Helga made a fool of herself, going around yelling at all the guys in the party to come over and take a photo with the groom for, quote-unquote, the boys. 20 to 30 guys come over to take all the boys' photo with the bride and groom, and Helga hops in the top corner of the photo. Classic Helga.
Truly.
She is the only other girl in the photo besides the bride. My BF and I openly laughed at her selfishness later as we walked home from the party. I said I was glad that I wouldn't have to deal with that at my wedding from people like her, as I don't have people like that in my life, and he laughed and agreed. The bride ended up posting a lot of photos from that day, but can you guess what she didn't post? We love to hear it.
True, but I'm also like, OP, I don't know if you're making it down the aisle with this guy. I'm just going to say.
I know. But here's a crazy part. OP now writes, here's the issue. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, for real.
No, this has been a journey, OP. You've won me over. There was drama. Here we go.
Lots of drama.
Helga and her BF. Lots of dramas. Helga and her BF just announced they're getting married. I, of course, don't want to go to the wedding, as this girl is always disrespectful, and I don't need to go to the wedding of somebody my BF has slept with. TBH. Highly fair. I also really don't want anyone I'm dating going to weddings of people they have slept with. This is hard for my BF, as the guy who she is engaged with is one of my BF's friends from high school. When I asked how close he was with the groom, he said that they never really talked one-on-one anymore, and he hasn't texted or talked to him except in a group setting since way before we met, but they used to be close back in the day. He said that if he doesn't go, it will spark a huge fight between his friend group, as they will all go. I feel bad asking him to miss out on an event that so many of his old friends will be at, but at the same time, I don't want to be with a partner that lets their friends treat me poorly and that goes to big events without me. Not to mention it being someone that he and all his other friends have slept with. I absolutely hate ultimatums, and I don't want to have to ask my BF to miss out, but I feel stuck and don't want to stay in a relationship where my feelings are pushed aside for the sake of their friends constantly. AITA for asking my BF to not go to a wedding of one of his old high school friends because he slept with the bride.
Yeesh. I'm like, woo! I'm like, OP, unfortunately, get used to it, because you are in a relationship where your feelings are pushed aside for the sake of the friends, like, whether you like it or not. And I'm not saying it's okay, but like, I don't know. I'm like, this is the reality.
Yeah, I mean, I see OP as being in between a rock and a hard place, you know? I don't really love Boyf, because I think consistently, as you're saying, his kind of thing has been like, hey, you know, cool it.
I mean,
cool it. And I have to say,
some people are like that, honestly. Like, their friends will always come first, and like, and they have dysfunctional friend groups, and like, it's not good. It's not fun to be the significant other in that situation, but like, some people are like this.
Yeah, and like, listen, I think it's easy at times to be like, well, was it really that bad? Was it really that bad that the couple left in the middle of the night? Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. No, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it also really wasn't positive, right? And like, I think that sometimes the thing is like, well, people are like, well, what? It was only a 4, right? If 5 is neutral, it was only a 4. And it's like, yeah, it was only a 4, but like, considering that, you know, how many vacations are we going to have, you know, a year for one to be a 4? It's like, well, no, I kind of expected that to be like an 8, like a really positive, good experience. And instead it was like a kind of bad experience. Like, frankly, not acceptable. Not acceptable. Not acceptable to me, you know? And I don't know. I'm just like, boyfriend agrees the group is toxic, and yet the group seems to just be this permanent fixture in your guy's life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
frustrating.
It's like she's fighting a losing battle trying to get him to give up these friends. And I don't know, because I do understand the objections, but I'm also just like, part of me is like, I understand why OP wouldn't want to go, and like, I don't blame her for that at all. And I also understand that like, if you're going to someone's wedding, like, I guess you are not even implicitly, like, you're supporting that marriage, and I get why you wouldn't support it. But I'm also just like, at the end of the day, this is an event, and like all of his friends will be there, and he doesn't seem like he's going to give up these friends. So like, I think it would be more trouble than it's worth to try to get him not to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
like, it doesn't have to, you don't have to think of it as like, oh, this is like a fucking celebration of Helga's awesomeness. And it's just like, you're going to like hang out with your friends.
I love, though, this is yet another echo of like people in like permanently toxic things.
Yeah.
AITA for leaving my toxic friend group. I mean, I think this is tough. Look, I don't really like BF. I don't know. We don't know the holistic picture. How is he as a BF otherwise? I mean, I'm not going to say break up with him. That's ridiculous. It's like, it does really suck, though. I mean, honestly, I'm almost ready to be like, yo, let's have a sit down conversation. Because look, in the end, OP, what I'm seeing here is this wedding the last hurrah of this BF having engagements with this friend group? Because look, it just doesn't seem optimal. They seem like toxic friends. Like they really don't seem good in any way. And like, I don't know. I'm not really into this whole like, oh, he's one of my close friends. Oh, when was the last time you guys spoke? Oh, we don't really speak unless we're in a group. So you're not friends. I don't know what that is. I mean, that's like acquaintances or something, but that's not a real friendship. That's not a meaningful, meaty relationship. Sounds almost like a drinking buddy, you know?
Yeah, but it's also it's like, who are this guy's other friends? Seriously.
Yeah, is it just and that's the other
aspect. Because like, honestly, it is. I feel like it's hard for guys to make friends, and like, yeah, these people are toxic and like whatever. But also, is this his main friend group?
Exactly. Like, and I suspect they are. I suspect they absolutely are.
It sounds like it.
And again, we go back to the four thing. It's like, well, is this friend group the worst thing ever? No. Are they a 4? Yes. But the problem isn't that they're a 4. The problem is that you only have so much time. And you're spending all your time with these 4s. It's like, no, you need some 8s. You need some good friends. As someone who has been profoundly lonely over the course of the last 6 months, I will say learning to be alone and learning to have less people in your life can actually be extremely rewarding, because then you start to not mess around with any, not that I'm fully succeeding at this, but you get better at cutting people off, and you're like, oh, you're a totally horrible person. Why would I, spend thousands of hours with you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
no, I get it.
I think here's what I want for OP. Tell me if this makes sense. I think this is a sit down. This is a sit down convo where it's like, look, if you want to go to this thing, I'll let you go. But I don't like this friend group as part of our future. It seems like they've been together a while, right? This is not like a new relationship. Oh no, they met on Bumble last November.
Oh, girl. You're not going to win this fight.
No, girl, I'm sorry. You got nothing. You got no case here. You're in a 1-year relationship. I mean, you're not really in a good position here.
It's not fair to be like, I don't want to go to this wedding, and I don't want you to go to a wedding. Like, I don't want you to go to events without me. Like, that's not fair. You make your choice as an adult, but that's your separate choice. And you can't put it on him.
I think you should go. I think you should go, OP. I think you should suck it up. I mean, look, if you really love this guy, then you should go. That's what I think. I think you'll be better there. You'll prevent any kind of Helga antics. You don't know what could go down. Just prevent things from getting too crazy and out of control. And, well, what else are you going to do?
I don't know. Or maybe it will just be like your last straw. Like, who's to say?
Yeah.
But he's known these people for longer than he's known you. And like, we don't like them at all. And we don't think that this is like a healthy friend group. But it's just kind of like, this is his friend group.
Yeah, and I think it's immature, and look, I think this guy's 28. I think men can be immature. I mean, look, I think I'm still immature. I'm still kind of realizing things about myself. I'm 4 years older than this gentleman. But I am concerned because I don't, I'll say this. I don't think there's ever been a point in my life post drinking Danny where I would go, yeah, those are my toxic friends,
Yeah, no,
because
that's true.
Why would I be friends with people I thought were toxic? I wouldn't put, I don't put up with that,
Agree.
So
it seems like he doesn't really agree. He's just kind of agreeing to placate her, and come up with these compromises. I think that's what he's been doing the whole time. Yeah, for sure.
I don't see a strong moral core with this guy. I mean, look, some people like this chaos. They like to have a Helga around, and they like that shit.
Or they just like can't make other friends. It's like,
yeah.
would you give up your friends? Like, I don't know. Would you, like, seriously, like, would you rather have 0 friends or like, it's just, whatever. Like, I can't totally
Sarah, I gave
blame
up.
him.
I gave up my friends to spend more time in the sun. So
the sun is your friend now.
Oh man. No, but you're right. You're right. Look, I'm not trying to comfort the boyfriend. I think this is tough. You guys are young.
I mean, I can't comfort him because it's like immature and he's in this like dysfunctional thing, but
yeah.
You know, it's also just, it's easier said than done. Like, it's easy to be on the outside being like, this is dysfunctional, and it's hard to be in it and pull yourself out of it.
Yeah. I mean, God, I am starting to feel break up with him vibes because I'm like, yo, is this guy on top of everything else? And because this depiction, speaking of 4s, this guy sounds like a 4 of a boyfriend. I'm not hearing anything positive about him. He's like, oh, whatever. She didn't mean it like that. It wasn't that big of a deal, babe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's always going to choose these people over you. I mean, go to the wedding, drink this girl's booze. What else? Yeah, drink the booze, eat the food, have a fun time. Break up with him.
I'm down. I'm down. AITA for... would I be the asshole if I didn't let my boyfriend go to his toxic friend group's wedding? I'm actually going to have to say on that title... Is that the title? I mean, what do we title this thing? AITA for asking my BF to not go to a wedding of one of his old high school friends because he slept with the bride. Fuck. This is a weird one. I mean, yeah, you would be because that's not a fair request. But like holistically speaking, as your friend, I can tell OP listens to the pod a lot too.
Yeah.
I don't know, as someone on your side, I don't love this situation for you, but I don't think you're in a place to ask that of him.
Well, I just think, like, she said she doesn't want to pull out an ultimatum, and I agree, because it's just, like, I think it's not going to have the desired effect. Like, it's not going to make him suddenly wake up and be like, I don't need these people. I think it's going to sow resentment. And I think, yeah, so I personally would not go that route if I were you. I don't think this is ultimatum town. I hate Helga. I don't like this friend group, but I don't think an ultimatum will be super productive.
Okay, so where are we, Sarah? Are we saying YTA, though? AITA for asking my BF not to go to a wedding?
I think so, because honestly, as juicy as all the drama was, and I really liked it, I really liked having a very informed picture, it's just like, them sucking is not really relevant to the ultimatum at hand.
Yes.
Like, it would be one thing if the boyfriend, like, cheated on OP with Helga. Then it'd be like, no, absolutely. Like, you should be asking that of him. But this was, like, well before her time. And there's nothing wrong with what he did. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a case of YTA, if you demanded that, and a hearty helping of, we don't love this relationship for you, OP.
Yeah, that.
But thanks for the juice. Thanks for the epic post. Whoa. I mean, there was a lot of texture here. And look, I think it was brilliant to name her Helga. I think a lot of us saw Hey Arnold Helga there.
Oh,
and
100%.
That really brought it together. That really 100%. Brought it together for me. You painted a beautiful picture, OP. Okay? YTLA, you're the literary author. Okay?
There we go.
You killed it. Guys, this has been an epic ep. I think this is the longest ep we've ever done. So, wow. Sarah, you're a goddess. And that's it. Much love for all y'all. Rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you next Monday morning.
Bye.